for today is titled Sensational Effects. Sensational Effects. Now, no matter what subject we may bring up to a group of individuals, their reactions will always be based on what they habitually give their attention to. Here in the United States, we have clear choices in how we receive and absorb news through the media. The more we give singular attention to certain media, the more our reactions and responses to news will be based on habitual individual sensation. People who set their television channel on Fox News will react very differently to news than the people who set their television channel to MSNBC, CBS, ABC, or CNN. Each of these networks present the same news more often than not, but the sensations that they cause through their presentation of the news differs greatly. Sensations are caused by the effects of attention. In the Principles of Psychology, authored by the great William James, we can find the following conclusion. The immediate effects of attention are to make us A, perceive, B, conceive, C, distinguish, D, remember, that is, better than otherwise we could, both more successive things and each thing more clearly. It also, E, shortens our reaction time. Now, this we want to understand as we choose to create through the power of our mind the ability to make our best better. Why? Because what we give our attention to and how we react to the things that get our attention determines the quality of the development of our consciousness. Consider the sensations, both emotional and physical, that go through your mind as you perceive, conceive, distinguish, remember, and react to your thoughts. Do you experience joy? Do you experience happiness? Do you experience peace of mind or sadness or anxiety or depression? Or do you find yourself in the state of being mindful of your quiet mind? So each and every one of us have this ability to do these things. Every one of these things is something that goes on in our mind all the time, but sometimes we're not always conscious of what it is that we perceive. We're not conscious of all the things that we conceive to be, and often we don't distinguish the differences between the things that we remember and the things that we're experiencing in the present. So when we think about our reaction, we must realize that everything that happens to us is based on our reaction to the world around us and the things that come into our experience. Now, some time ago, someone told me that people's perceptions of me were very important. The person who said this stated it with a straight face. Now, none of us are responsible for other people's perceptions of us. After all, perceptions aren't based on the truth. The person who holds the perception in their mind is responsible for their perceptions of us and the consequences that follow when they speak about us based on their perceptions, which may have nothing to do with the truth about us. The ability to perceive is useful and beneficial, as these are used to develop our own consciousness, and anything else is malpractice. I remember when I opened the church in Palm Springs, someone said to me, "Congratulations, this is like your dream come true." The reality is that this was not the case at all. I never had ever dreamed of opening a church, but my great desire was to be a teacher who could motivate those who did desire to realize the manifestation of their dreams. Now, after 11 and a half years, I closed the church because I am just not the pastor of a church-type personality. But my desire to motivate and teach others to learn how to manifest their dreams and desires continues to burn brightly in my heart and my mind, and I'm very serious about that. So when we think about perception, so many times people go around and they have these perceptions of people. I remember, people have perceptions of presidents. They say, oh, he thinks this or he thinks that. Nobody knows what we think about anything. No matter who we are, no matter how public a figure someone might be, for us to even assume that we could know what someone else thinks is borderline ridiculous. It's borderline ridiculous. someone to perceive that they know who we are when all they know is what they have experienced from us, and usually that's not very much, is also borderline ridiculous. In Wayne Dyer's book, The Sky's the Limit, he writes that we are to trust your animal instincts. Now, the great William James, the great philosopher William James, would agree with him. Wayne Dyer writes, the adult in you, when it excludes the child's abilities to enjoy the present, is your enemy. Remember, those children you admire so much for their ability to enjoy life are not foreign creatures to you. You have one of those children inside you. The question is whether you are going to let him out or be threatened so much by him that you insist on trying to change the real children around you to be more like you, to postpone their gratification, to feel as incomplete as you may feel at times. In fact, becoming a no-limit person means precisely what it says, which is that you rid yourself of the self-imposed limits which are inherent in postponing your gratification. Living fully now means no limits, while endlessly postponing your enjoyment is a severe limitation to your fullest humanity. That's from the great Wayne Dyer. Too often our mind is in postpone mode. We postpone making the decisions that will bring greater happiness or prosperity into our life experiences. We postpone taking the vacation to the place we would love to visit and instead go to where others would like for us to go, or even more likely go to some familiar place. We postpone losing weight, losing unhealthy habits, losing negative people from our lives, letting go of the job we don't want, and finding the work that we love. We are all postponing something, even if we are not conscious of it. It is something we have learned as we have appeared to have grown up, as we have appeared to have grown up. So that's why in the Scripture we can read that we must be like a child. We must be like a child. It means we need to unlearn all the things we've learned from the world. You see these people that go around with these stickers on their vehicles, usually on their rear windows or their bumper that say, TW, not of this world. But I wonder just how many of those people really are not of this world. How much of their mindset is so geared to religiosity and to the man-made rules and regulations of mankind and what they perceive as God and life to be something that man has created rather than being not of this world, meaning that we are open in our mind to no limits. The sky's the limit, Wayne Dyer says, but even beyond that, there are universes after universes which tells us that this infinity in which we live, rather than say this world, this earth in which we live, this infinity in which we live, has so many possibilities for us that if we open our mind to it, we may find that all the things that we've learned from the world, all the things that we've taken for granted, all the things that we argued to be the truth, weren't the truth at all, weren't even things that benefited us in any great way. And all we did often was we just compromised ourselves to please other people or not to be confrontational with other people, or we respected people so we didn't want to tell them that they were so very wrong about what they believed. Far too many of us are still in tribal consciousness. That's why we have megachurches all over the place. And then we have people who are obsessed with football games and baseball games. I love baseball. I like a good baseball game. It's probably one of the most wonderfully relaxing things to watch. But I'm not obsessed with it. If there's something else that's going on that involves my family or my friends or something that I need to do, take care of, I can skip a game. But there are people that are so obsessed, they've made that sport or other sports their religion. Just like people go to megachurches and they feel so validated because they think they surrounded themselves with these other thousands of people that believe the same thing that they believe, but all these thousands of people, each individual is probably thinking they're validating their false beliefs, their beliefs that they've never questioned, they've never looked any deeper into those beliefs in the religion in which they are a part of to find out if it's really the truth either. We want to fit in more than we want to bend that fit by making the choices and decisions that will create us a wonderful life. But we don't have to stay in this mindset. Everything begins to change as we perceive of ourselves differently and as we conceive of the right ideas for us. As we distinguish from what we remember our life to be as a child, who expected instant gratification, and began to react to the thought that the sky's the limit, and loose the disappointing thought of postponement, the effects of the sensations that will fill our mind will loosen the imprisoned splendor of intelligence and power within us, and we shall begin to conceive of even greater things still that we shall do. These things I do, the great mastermind Jesus said, and greater things still shall you do. These things I do, and greater things still shall you do, he said. But how many of us believe that? How many of us believe him? How many people that follow Jesus or run around wearing the crosses around their neck or even carrying crosses across the land believe what he said? These things I do, and greater things still shall you do. How many people understand what he was getting at? That's a question for all of us. Here we are in 2018, and most people haven't evolved any further in their religious or spiritual life than their great grandparents. So many of our religious and spiritual beliefs, I'm not talking about any particular religion. There's some of it in all religions and even in all spiritual persuasions and philosophies that are so stuck on false truth and mythologies that they really don't get what it is that life is truly all about and what their relationship to God is all about. We can rise above that and go deep within our mind and start thinking about the sensations that we feel when we perceive something. If you hear something, perceive what it means. Take it into your mind. Conceive of it as being true or false. Distinguish between what's right and what's wrong, but most importantly, distinguish between what is truth and what is not. And remember that Jesus and Isaiah, Moses, all the great teachers throughout history, Krishna, all of them went beyond anything known to mankind at the time that they walked on this earth. And when we start doing that, it shortens our reaction time to all the things that come across our experience that somehow shakes us up a little bit. So let's keep the faith. Keep the faith. Keep the faith with yourself. Keep the faith with God. Keep your faith with the Spirit of truth. And let all good things come to you